How's it going, everybody? My name is Brent, and today I will be going through basically the meta here in Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. So it's kind of made up of three decks that we'll be touching on. The first one is just Kozmo and its variants. There's Burning Abyss, and it's basically here with the Phantom Knight engine that made it meta. And finally, there is Monarchs. And there are two types of Monarch decks. I'm only going to be going over one just because, to be frank, not the biggest fan of Monarchs, but they're definitely a strong deck, and so I'm kind of forced to cover them. So this is your basic cookie cutter Monarch deck list. These are the big guys you want to summon. Erebus is really powerful. Aether's powerful. Vandy's Fiend is powerful. Doesn't let your opponent summon monsters. Kuraz you summon off of Aether to get your draws. Majesty's Fiend is more or less the same thing. This one will tribute your opponent's monster. This searches into your spells. This locks your opponent out of the extra deck. And this gives you draw power, and it's searching. So we'll see here. I'll show you some gameplay of it. Okay, so to start off here, we have, I'm going first, and we open with a couple good cards. This one will give us a search whenever we tribute summon. This one is the field spell, just really powerful. This will give us tribute fodder, so you normal it, you special summon another one from the deck, and then the one you summon from the deck will let you normal summon an additional time. So we're going to normal summon Vandy's Fiend, and what that does basically, it just means your opponent cannot special summon. And since a lot of decks special summon, it's just a really powerful card for that. So the spell that we activated will let us search, and we're going to search out Aether, who is just the big one you can summon on your opponent's turn. So if I need to, I can summon it, summon Kuraz to pop their things for a little bit of disruption. But right now, this is a pretty good ending field. We have Vandy sitting out there. We have the field spell, which, with Vandy's doesn't let them summon from the extra deck. It gives us an attack boost on our turn. And so that's basically what Monarchs do. They lock the opponent out of the deck. They don't let them do anything. So right now, the next deck that we're going to be covering is Kozmo. And so this variant is Fire King Kozmo. And more or less what it does is you use Fire King Island to destroy your ships and stuff. And they'll kind of float down into the lower level Cosmos. You do some shenanigans there, and then they can open up some pretty powerful boards. So I'll just go ahead and show you one of the boards that you can open up with this deck. All right, so this is a great hand. We start off with Fire King Island, Cosmo Town, and Dark Destroyer. And that's basically the hand you want. I think this is the strongest combo that the deck does. So you can see here now, so we'll destroy the Dark Destroyer in our hand. We usually search the level 3 ones so we can go into rank 3s. And then Dark Destroyer will go ahead and he'll float on down to Delta Shuttle. Because Delta Shuttle, he uses his effect to send stuff to the grave. And so one of the strong things about Delta Shuttle is he can use his effect even if it's negated because it sends us the cost. So we'll send the Straw Man here, and that will just be part of the combo. Oh, I try activating the Cosmo Town. So here, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use Cosmo Town. And whenever Fire King Island leaves the field, it destroys all the monsters that we control. And with that, we can use it to float on down into Sword Troopers. And what Sword Troopers is going to do here is that he's going to summon the Straw Man that we sent to the grave. And that will just be another part of our combo. Fire King Island, the Fire King Cosmos, I think, is just one of the stronger builds. It's kind of bricky because you're a little bit reliant on Fire King Island. You're relying on having these 3-card combos, but they're really powerful. They give you some good turn 1 boards, and even if you don't open them, you can essentially just play pure Cosmo with the deck. And so the pure Cosmos aren't bad. That's another variant. I think that's the most common variant here on Legacy of the Duelist, just because Fire King Cosmos is a bit complicated, and Artifact Cosmos they're borderline unplayable with with Demise. So what happens is Card of Demise is the one that lets you draw, so you have 3 cards in your hands, and then you discard during the end phase. One of the things that you're supposed to be able to do, and I know you can do this like in real life, is you normal summon Tin Can, who searches on the end phase, and you use Demise's effect, you set all your stuff, you discard everything on the end phase, and then after that, then you use Tin Can. And then Tin Can's effect will give you a search. So you can end with a card in hand, and you'll have a ship to summon out next turn. In this game, what happens is it'll ask you if you want to use Tin Can's effect. You basically say yes or no. But no matter what you say, Demise will resolve last, and you can't resolve anything after Demise in this game. So that's a little bit unfortunate. So right here now, we sent Dark Planet with the Delta Shuttle. We used Kozmo Town's effect to grab Dark Destroyer back to hand. We tagged out with Strawman. Dark Destroyer destroyed himself to float into Slip Rider. Slip Rider destroyed Kozmo Town to grab Dark Planet. And now we are going to summon Cyber Dragon Infinity. And so this is just, Infinity is a really powerful card. What it does is you can negate a spell, trap, or monster effect. During your turn, you can target a face-up attack position monster and then just attach it as material. So it basically is removal and it's negation in one. It's a really powerful card, and I really like the way it looks. I just always like Cyber Dragons. I thought they were cool. Then we're going to summon out Leviair here. And what Leviair does is it summons a banished level 3 or lower, level 4 or lower. I don't remember. I think it's level 3 though. And you basically use it to bring back the Strawman. And the Strawman here is going to bring back the Dark Destroyer, and you'll kind of see that here. But the purpose for dumping Dark Planet off of Delta Shuttle and searching Dark Planet is Dark Planet can banish Dark Planet to summon Dark Planet. And Dark Planet's a very powerful card. What it does is, if your opponent activates a spell card, you can banish a Kozmo monster from your graveyard to negate it. At the end of this combo, we're going to have 4 Kozmo monsters in our graveyard. So we get 4 negates. Now here, Strawman summons Dark Destroyer. Dark Destroyer will attempt to activate his effect even though it's negated. And then with that, you can chain Cyber Dragon Infinity to negate his effect, and we send a Kozmo to the grave for more fuel for Dark Planet. And that will negate and destroy Dark Destroyer. And Dark Destroyer will go ahead and flow down into another Strawman. And Strawman will summon that Dark Destroyer again. And now that Dark Destroyer is fine. That one's going to be destroyed on the end phase because of Strawman's effect. And what that means is that basically it'll flow down to Dark Lady, who will give us a monster negate if we pay 1,000 life points, which is another powerful card. So here we summon Herald of the Pure Light in attack position. And the reason why we do that is so that way we can eat it with Infinity whenever we're done. You want to do that just because it gives Infinity more fuel and it gets a Kozmo in the grave. And what Pure Light does is that it'll add a monster from the graveyard to your hand, so you add Dark Planet, and then you shuffle a card in your hand back into the deck. And so now we'll go ahead and we'll special summon Dark Planet by banishing Dark Planet. No, well first we have to eat that. So here comes Dark Planet. And like I said, there's 4 negates in the grave. There's 4 Cosmos. So we right now have 4 spell negates. We have 1 spell, trap, or monster negate with Infinity. And here in the end phase, the Dark Destroyer is going to get destroyed. And you'll see right here that he's going to float down to Dark Lady. And that will give us a monster negate. So we essentially have 4 spell negates, 1 monster negate, 1 anything negate. And that is just a very powerful opening board no matter what you are. It's really good against Monarchs especially since they use their spells so much. Okay, so the next deck that we are going to be covering is Burning Abyss. And basically what we have right here is just your cookie cutter Burning Abyss. Still really powerful deck. Seer here is at 2. The next card, Graph, we have at 1. So that's how the ban list hurt us. But we also have the Terror Tops, we have the Phantom Knights. They just make the deck so much better, giving us more things to work with in the grave, more 1-card Xe summons. We have our usual disruption, spell, and trap stuff. But what really makes this deck powerful is this card right here. Beatrice gives us very good disruption on our opponent's turn. It lets us float. It floats into this card. This is Pilgrim Dante. He's just another very powerful card. And so basically this deck never dies, and that's what makes this deck really powerful. But we'll go ahead and we'll show you some gameplay of it just so you can see. So here we are, we're going first. Burning Abyss really likes going first so they can set up. And right now we have a pretty good hand. Tour Guide is just a amazing card. It gets us any Burning Abyss monster from our deck. And what makes that really powerful is that normally Burning Abyss cards, they get destroyed if you control a non-Burning Abyss monster. But, this one, she negates their effects on their summon. My opponent uses Max C against me, which isn't very kind. They get to draw a bunch, but typically, immediately, you want to go into Dante as soon as you can. He gets the engine going so much. He sends cards to the grave. He adds stuff whenever he gets destroyed. What we're doing right here now is we're sending Foolish Burial to dump, the Phantom Knight one that searches the trap. And then we're summoning Beatrice by discarding a Burning Abyss. And we're discarding Skarm, which here on the end phase will allow us to search, set our Twin Twisters, and we're going to end our turn. Oh, I never grabbed that, did I? I just now noticed that. I didn't search the trap. That's fine. Scarm search just Graph. We have that in our hand because I figure I could Twin Twisters if they ever do something. Graph will special summon another thing, like a Farfa or something, and we can also banish more of their stuff if we need be. So that would work. That's a little bit of disruption in addition to Beatrice. I did not expect to get hit with a Raigeki immediately. So we're just going to send another Scarm so we can get another search in the end phase. And this is just the worst thing to do. If you do that, Beatrice is going to summon out Pilgrim Dante. Dante will add Seer back to hand, and Seer will summon out normal Dante. So you'll see right here, this is just not... This is how this deck will never die. You hit me with Raigeki, Dark Hole, I get more cards than I had beforehand. And Pilgrim Dante will discard a Burning Abyss monster to draw a card, which is just a free +1 because you can you do whatever you want. So the opponent, I don't know what he's doing right now. He's just kind of sitting around waiting. But we have a Graph in hand. We're going to discard that. We're going to special summon. We're going to get a search with Scarm on the end phase. And next turn, we can discard Seer or summon something else. And so basically, we are good to go. This is, like I said, it's really hard to beat this deck when it just gains so much advantage. Hey, thanks everyone for watching. I have just a couple things I'd like to say. First is I'm planning on doing some more deck profiles here in the future. I'll be doing very in-depth guides. I'll show you a basic deck list that you can alter. I'll try to include other techs that can be thrown in the deck. And I'll even be going through and showing you where to unlock the cards, so it'll be a bit easier and so you won't have to look everything up on a spreadsheet. So be looking forward to those in the near future. The next thing that I'd like to mention is Club Yugioh. It's a club on Xbox One, and we just basically play Yu-Gi-Oh together there. It's very active. There's usually people wanting to play or in party chats, at any given time, basically. Late evening is probably the best time. It's whenever it's most active. We get a bunch of our players online there. We just have a big party going. People are saying, hey, throw me an invite, I'll play. It's a great club, and if you aren't already a member, please feel free to join. But I think that's it for now. So thanks. See ya.